Hey everybody, it's Melissa. Welcome to the Google Hangout tonight. Jeff will be here shortly. He's doing some daddy chores this evening, so he'll be here shortly. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. And what I want to share with you guys this week is the topic of this is 7 deals in 7 days. And the reason we chose that topic is because that is truly something that can happen for everybody on here. Even if it's not 7 deals in 7 days, you can certainly do, sorry, my cell phone, you can certainly do 7 deals in a month. You can do 7 deals in, 2 months. It doesn't really matter. You can do as many deals as you want to do. And the cool thing is that you get to set that pace. And for Jeff and I, what that pace was all about was reaching some goals that we had, that we could go ahead and attain the things that we wanted to obtain and start living our life the way we wanted to the next level. And so what I want to talk about is how we accomplished getting 7 deals done in 7 days. And there's really 3 key components to that. And one is just being consistent. The second is marketing. And I know I talk about marketing a lot because it's really, really important. And the third thing is follow through. And without those 3 things, it doesn't matter how many deals you're doing or you're not doing. If you don't have them, you can't move forward. So let's talk about consistency. It doesn't matter what type of investing that you do or that you want to do, whether it's wholesaling, maybe it's buy, fix, and flip, maybe it is holding for rentals. Or maybe you're working with out-of-state investors and you're providing properties to them. If you are not consistent in your approach on that form of investing, then you're just going to be all over the board, right? You have a system, and there's a lot of systems here on the IE site that can help you strategize and coordinate whatever processes that you want to do, and it can help you move along. But you have to be consistent in implementing that process. And usually every process that we have has got steps, right? I'm not going to go into all of the steps right now because that's not really what this call is about, but this hangout. But I want to just make sure that if you follow those steps consistently every single time, you are pretty much guaranteed to be able to continue to repeat that process over and over and over again. So consistency is key. You guys have heard that phrase before. So the second piece is marketing. And if you were at an event here recently, or you get to talk to me on a regular basis, or even just through email communications, I'm always pushing marketing. And I don't care what type of marketing you do. Maybe you're just getting started and you don't have a very big budget and you need to look at free or very low cost options. Great, take advantage of them. Be resourceful, find more free options, right? Put your name out there. Let people know who you are. Market yourself to your target audience. If you have to go to business after hours events, which are free, by the way, you can go and socialize with business individuals in your community or the areas that you want to be investing in or the area that you want to provide properties in. Go pass out your business card, chat up a conversation. You cannot be afraid to introduce yourself and let people know who you are and what you're doing and what you have to offer. Because if you don't, you guys, you're not going to do anything, because then nobody's going to know who you are and nobody's going to know how you can help them move forward in their investing portfolio that they want to put together. So marketing, free ways. If you want to implement online types of marketing that are fee driven, right? Meaning that there's like pay per click advertising, which means that every time somebody clicks on your ad, you have to pay for it. There's mailing lists, direct mailing lists. There's so many places on there that you can do that and get yourself going, get your name out there, put your advertisement or your advertising paraphernalia in front of people as often as you want to. There's high level marketing, right? There's TV, commercial, radio ads, newsprint advertising, big ads, things of that nature. All of those things combined can help you move forward in getting your information out there to the general population to make sure that you are keeping your pipeline full, right? So you're being consistent in your system, right? Whatever system that is, it doesn't really matter. You know what that system is. And you know what that system is because it's something you've learned. You've been taught that, whether it's through this program or you've been to an investment club or something like that. There's a system for what you're doing. You're marketing yourself based off of that system, right? And the third thing is you have to follow through. You can't expect to have a system, a great system, go out and market yourself, and then do not a damn thing with it and just sit back and think, well, gosh, this just doesn't work for me. Right? You can't do that. You have to be able to follow through. What that follow through means is you have to return phone calls. You have to return emails. You have to set appointments to go and meet with clients if they're in your local area, or set up times to make conference calls with those folks. Talk about what they want. Talk about how you can help them. Follow through. And if you make those initial contacts and it's not a concrete result-driven meeting, which means that you don't walk away from that meeting with hardcore direction on how to help that client, right? You don't have their buying criteria or whatever it is you're doing. If you don't walk away from that meeting with that information, before that meeting ends, you set another meeting. Right? And you just call it a follow-up meeting, right? It's a soft sell, so to speak. If you're talking to someone and you're not really feeling like you're getting what you need, or they're just really aloof, yeah, well, I don't really have a buying criteria, I don't really have a price range, I don't, just, okay, great, no problem, and just make as many notes as you can. And then, so you know what I'd like to do is I'd like to follow up with you in about a week. And let's see if we can find some properties in the meantime based off of the information that you've given me now, and see if we can't find something, and we'll follow up next week and see if that works for you or not, right? And then what you can do is send them some property examples. You know, hey, I got this great property. I don't know if this is going to work for you. It could even be something that maybe you have locked up, but you have a potential buyer for anyway. At least you're getting it in front of them. One, they see that you're actually providing them properties. And two, it's really going to make them think about what they want and what they don't want. So in your follow-up phone call, you can go back to them and you can say, okay, I sent you this property. Let's talk about it. Does this meet your criteria? Does this not meet your criteria? What about this property did you like? Did you not like? What can I do better for you to try and get you what you're looking for? You have to follow through, right? And you have to follow through not only with your contacts, but you have to follow through with that whole process. You have to follow through on being consistent and keeping your system in check on a regular basis. It's okay to ebb and flow a little bit and change it with, you know, certain demographics or certain areas that you're investing in. Maybe one thing doesn't work in this area, but the core of the system stays the same. You have to follow through on that system. Don't do step 1 and 2 and leave 3, 4, and 5 out and pick up where 6 comes in. You can't do that. It's follow through on the entire process. Follow through on your marketing. You have to make sure that your marketing is consistent and that you continually follow through on it, right? If you run an ad and you say, well, okay, I'm going to put an ad out in the newspaper, let's just say for the next 3 months, then you need to make sure that you have dates that those ads are going to run, and that you are consistently speaking with whomever your person is at the distribution center, or who the advertising center, whoever takes care of the ads, and making sure that those folks are actually getting that scheduled with you and for you, so that you're following through. And that's why I put follow through at the end, is because that really, without follow through, you can go through all the steps or pieces of them, but you have to follow through with complete confidence that the entire process works. So those are 3 big things. So what I want to talk about is how Jeff and I were able to accomplish closing 7 deals in 7 days. And I want to share this with you because I think, to be honest, that's the most deals we've closed in the shortest amount of time. I'm going to be very honest. It was also probably the biggest payout we've had in the shortest amount of time. And so I share this not to brag, but I share it because once you start implementing those 3 things, stuff like this just happens. It just automatically starts to work for you. So Jeff and I, through our efforts, our marketing efforts, we continued to market to some specific groups or specific buyer parameters and things like that. And we targeted those groups. And we were able to get cash buyers that, you know, were looking for some very specific types of properties, and they had very specific goals on what to do with those properties. So what we did is then we took those parameters and we went out and we were able to find properties for them based off of the volume of offers that we put out on a regular basis. And I say that the volume of offers because we are always making offers. We're making offers every day or every other day, or we're making, you know, re-offers. If something doesn't work 2 weeks ago, we'll come back and we'll offer on it again in 2 or 3 weeks. So we're always putting out offers. Our realtors are always putting out offers for us, or we're always doing the for sale by owner offers and contacting people that are wanting to sell their houses, that are contacting us off of our marketing, bandit signs, for example. We get a huge number of calls from our bandit signs. In fact, Thursday, we're looking at 5 properties just from one bandit sign call. This lady's got 5 properties that she'd like to sell because she's moving out of the area. So again, if we hadn't have been consistent with our system, consistent with our marketing, and followed through, we wouldn't have had that option, right? Same thing happened when we closed our 7 deals a couple weeks ago. So we were able to acquire a bulk of properties, not from the same person, but just through different avenues of our marketing, and we were able to match those properties up with our buyers that we found through our marketing for cash buyers. And really, it's a game of matching. Really, that's all it is. Oh, I have a great property, and I know this person wants this great property, and so we just match them up. We present the deal to them. They take it or they don't take it. If they take it, great. We just keep moving forward. If they don't take it, we move them on to the next buyer. So we were able to do this very systematically, putting it all together, and we were able, because of the volume of offers that we make, set the closing dates, you know, relatively close together. Because if you're making offers every day, your closing date is usually, we pick 30 days just to be on the safe side. You know, if you make an offer on the 1st, then you're closing on the 30th. If you make an offer on the 2nd, you're closing on the 31st. If you make an offer on the 3rd, you're closing on the 1st. You know, the 2nd, and so on. So it's just a daily approach. So if you're making offers on a daily basis, right, with a closing date that's retrospective of that date, don't make 15 offers and have all of them close on one day and then take 3 days off. You may end up getting 4 of those deals and they're all going to close on the same day, which is great, don't get me wrong, but you want that consistent pipeline filled up, right? You don't want to have a big rush and then do nothing. So we were able to make offers on these properties, and we were able to go ahead and put them in as staggered closing dates. And then that way, when the title company was handling them, we were able to say, okay, these 3 are closing on this day, these 2 on this day, this one on this day, this one on this day, and so on. So we were able to stagger those closings, and all within a week's time frame. Put them together. We were able to hook up these are all wholesale deals, by the way. I just want to clarify that. These are deals that we did no work on. We didn't have any money out of our pocket, right? We were able to double close on these. So we were able to find properties, match them up with our cash buyers with no money and no rehab. It can be done. So anyway, that's what we put together in 7 days. So now what we're doing is we're trying to go back. We're not trying, we are going back, and we're continuing to use our consistent program that we use, our strategy, right, to put in more marketing, and we're following through. So we can go ahead and repeat that results again and again and again. Now, we may not get 7 more deals in 7 days, but we're at least consistently closing deals on a regular basis, hopefully 1 a week, maybe 2, 3 a week. And we want that to happen throughout, you know, the longevity of the year. Now we're coming into winter time, and everybody says, oh, nobody buys real estate in the winter time. Now where we live, in Indiana, I think last year we had 72 inches of snow. So let me tell you, for us, business doesn't stop. We have guys that will work out in this weather. If we have a property that is, there's no electric or something, we're working on that right away once we get that sucker closed to get everything up and ready to go and put it available for our buyers, or put it back on the market, whatever we're going to do, while everybody else in our industry has stopped working for the winter time because, well, they're just too cold, or they just can't flip in this weather, or whatever their reason is. We continually keep going, and that's why we're able to sustain what we have and what we do, because we are consistent and we follow through with our marketing, and we continue to market on a regular basis. Excuse me. So about 15 minutes in, before I go on to the next section, does anybody have any questions about anything? All right, I'm going to keep going. Let's see if anybody comes in with any questions here real quick. So something else I want to talk about is structuring those deals. And I know I've kind of talked about deal structuring before, and I know you guys have heard a lot about it. Excuse me, I've got something on my face. I have the hair in my face. Anyway, I want to talk about structuring the deals so that you can make sure that they're closing the way that they need to. And I'll tell you how we did ours, the 7 deals in 7 days. So when we get a property locked up, right, we have our contract with the seller. And once I've matched that property up with the buyer, I'm immediately turning over and sending that to the my end buyer, right? So I'm matching up those contracts. I'm writing them up as soon as I get an accepted person, and we're ready to go. I send everything over to the title company, right? I not only send my buy to the title company, I send my sale to the company too. And the reason I do that is because even if I'm working with a realtor, I want to make sure that the title company has everything that I need to get that deal closed. I don't want to rely on somebody else. I don't want to rely on a realtor not getting any of the information. I don't want to wait and see what happens if and when the paperwork gets there. I don't want to wait till the day before closing and have somebody tell me that they're missing paperwork, or that they don't have something that they need, or it's not clear what the parameters of the sale are on our second end of that deal. So I do take full control of that, and I turn everything over to them. I'm following up, right? Phase 3 follow-up. I'm following up with my title company. Now we have a deal closing today's the 22nd. I have one closing on the 30th. And I've already contacted the title company, just making sure that she has reviewed our contracts, that she has got the wire instructions out to my end buyer, that she understands what the end buyer is going to be doing on this deal. They're going to be signing for themselves. And is she ready to close once the title paperwork comes in? And she's made it very clear, yes, I am. I'm ready to go. I just need to stop by her office and drop off one other piece of paperwork. But had I not reached out to her, I wouldn't have known that I needed to drop that off. We would have gotten to the closing table and there would have been a delay or something like that, right? And the fact that it is just, oh, well, this is taking too long. I don't know if we can close. It didn't have this one piece of paper, blah, 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 blah. So you want to make sure that you are consistently, doing the spearheading on your deal. We have a question. Jake, do you structure your business operations by doing only one particular thing for one day, or do most of all of the things each day, like calling buyers? Okay, so Jake, that's a great question. We do a lot of what's called time blocking, or I do anyway. I do not spend one business day focusing on one thing. So this is my routine, right? I get up at 4:45 in the morning. I know some of you get up much earlier than that, so yay for you, but 4:45 is my number. And I get up and I go and I work out at 6 o'clock. I go to my place, and I usually do 1 or 2 hours of workout. And I shower, do my thing, and then I go to our office. And I'm usually at the office by 7:30 or 8 o'clock, whatever time I get there. And I like that time because for me, it's still before regular business hours, and I can get some initial paperwork done. I can check emails. I can check voicemails during that time. It's quiet. In my opinion, it's too early to call people back before 9 a.m. That's just my personal rule of thumb. Any of you guys can do it however you want to. So I take that time to organize my day. I already have a to-do list drafted from the day before, but then I take that time to kind of organize once I get in the office. And then what I'll do is I'll spend some time answering emails. Maybe I'll spend an hour answering emails or something like that. And then I'll go through and I'll go ahead, maybe I'll make a couple phone calls. And I'll make 4 or 5 phone calls. If I leave messages, then I'm going to go ahead and kind of maybe find some busy work to do for the next couple hours to see if anybody calls back. Because I personally don't like call waiting when it's for business. I like to answer the phone when it calls. I don't want to lose an opportunity. So if I can kind of wait and see if someone calls me back because maybe they missed my call or they didn't recognize my number or something like that. So I'll go through and maybe, so we do a lot of rehabs. So like today, when I got to the office, I spent some time going through one of our properties. We go through and do an assessment of all the materials that are needed with our contractor. And one of the things that I like to do just for quality control is I go through that and we do it room by room, and I tally up all the materials that we need, all the plugs, all the switches, all the lights, the dimensions of the room, so how much flooring we're going to need. Do we need drywall? Do we need vents? What do we need? Windows? Just all of that stuff. So I'll spend maybe an hour or two doing that, and then I'll go back to making more phone calls. And I try really hard to check my voicemail or to check my email pretty regularly. I don't like I said, I don't like people to not get their calls answered. So I try really hard to answer my phone when it rings, but I also am mindful of my other work. And if I am heavily in a task that I know is paramount to moving our business forward, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm really going to focus on that at that time. And I'm not going to check my email and I'm not going to check my voicemail during that hour so that I can focus on that 100%. What I may do is even a further security that I'm not going to do that is I may go put my phone in the car, or I may shut it off or something like that. I know that seems pretty extreme for a lot of people, but that is something that I'm working on, is focusing more on tasks with less distractions. So Jake, to answer your question, no, I don't work on one thing during a day. I'm working on 5 or 6 things during the day, and it just depends on what is scheduled for that day. So for example, let me give you I'll look at my calendar here and I'll kind of tell you what my day is going to look like on Thursday. Excuse me one second, I got to put my Googles on. Okay, so Thursday's pretty mellow. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, so Thursday. So again, I've got my personal morning routine, right? And I get to the office, and then we have an appointment from 11 to 12 to meet a seller at one of her properties. So we're going to meet her. We have a lunch meeting with a potential cash buyer. Jeff has some appointments in the afternoon. We have another event in the evening, and it's all time blocked out here on my phone calendar. On Friday, for example, I've got time blocked that I'm meeting with some specific individuals to help move our business forward. And then we've got an appointment with an asset management company to start working with them a little bit more. That's actually Jeff's appointment. And then we've got appointments to meet some brand new contractors because we're expanding and we're growing. And so I've got those appointments set in there too. And in the middle of all of those, I schedule time to return phone calls, to check my voicemails, and to do things like that. So I know Andrea, if you guys have ever listened to Andrea talk about time management, she's amazing at that. And that's kind of where I got that whole time blocking thing, was really from her, and the fact that if you don't deliberately schedule time for things, they don't happen. And that's not only in business, that's in your personal life as well. And that's why I'm able to get up in the morning and I'm able to go and I'm able to do a personal routine and a workout, or I can schedule lunch with Jeff and it's not interrupted. In fact, today we had kind of a brunch after we both ended up doing our morning routines, and I left my phone in the car. And that's something, to me, just valuing the time that I have with another person, that I'm trying really hard to focus on. I think we get so caught up in life with, oh, I got to check my phone, I got to check this, oh, I got a phone call, I got to make an appointment. You know, valuing your time, whether it's with another human being or you're doing a business task, really is important, you guys. And to bring that back to what I'm talking about is getting deals done, is that if you don't value your time and prioritize and set time aside to do specific tasks, your whole system's just going to get all muddled, and you're not going to have the consistency, you're not going to be able to implement your marketing, and you're certainly not going to do any follow through. So prioritizing your time, making sure that you're following through on everything is really key. So that was a great question, Jake. Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions? And you know, if you're doing different, let me bop it again. If you're doing different types of investing, maybe you're doing wholesaling, maybe you're doing fix and flips, you know, set time aside to do each one of those, right? From this time to this time, I'm going to focus on my wholesaling part of my business, or this time to this time, I'm going to work on whatever I need to do to coordinate my flips, whether it's meeting with contractors or going through properties and assessing levels of rehab, whatever it is you do. But if you block those times out again and make sure you do that. And one thing I want to make sure, we have an office, but a lot of us work from home too. Make sure you are deliberate in your scheduling. And I say that because what you don't want to do is you don't want to be running around all day, right? Driving in your car, you can be productive, but for the most part is counterproductive. I think if you really want to be consistent and get your marketing out and do your follow through, you have to have time to do that. And if you're staggering your appointments throughout the day where you're traveling around and meeting people here and going here and doing this and doing that, and you're scattering your day with travel, you're missing the opportunity to move your business forward. So I want to make sure that when you're doing that, or just maybe pick one day or 2 days a week that you go and you actually look at properties. Don't do it every day. If there's a day you want to meet with folks, cash buyers, or you know, have a conference call, or you want to attend a RIA or something like that, set a specific day to go do that kind of stuff. And then that way you're always following a system. And that's, again, getting back to being consistent. See, all this stuff just kind of keeps going right back to those 3 topics, right? If you keep everything in your system consistent, you can't help but just keep moving forward. So when I bring up those examples of being consistent, it's not just being consistent in your wholesaling, it's being consistent in your daily operations, it's being consistent in your efforts, it's being consistent in your approach, it's being consistent in your philosophy about how you want to run your business. If you change it from day to day or week to week because you heard somebody else's new fun-fangled way to do it, you're not being consistent, right? So that's just why it's so important to stay consistent, continue your marketing based off of whatever program you're doing, and then follow through. I just can't stress those enough. Should I say them one more time? Be consistent, do your marketing, and follow through. All right, guys. It's about 8:30 my time. That's really all I had. I think I kind of went through everything a little bit faster than I had anticipated. But if there's anything anybody wants to ask or wants to talk about, you know, that's what we're here for. Ask away. And it doesn't even have to be about doing 7 deals in 7 days or anything like that. It can be about whatever you want it to be about. I'm here to help every one of you. Jeff and I want to see everybody succeed. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to do the best that they absolutely can with their business, regardless of what type of business you're doing. You know, just make sure that you are available to your business and make sure that you have the time set aside to do what you need to do. Questions, questions, questions. If nobody has any questions, what I'd love to hear about is, you know, anybody can put in there something innovative that maybe they tried, you know, with their marketing. And I'm looking up here, and Andy, I know you're on, and you're asking about Jeff shirts. So I got to tell you, Jeff wears those silly shirts all the time, and you guys all know that because every time you see him, he's got a shirt on. But again, we're working out. We go to the Y here where we live, and he happened to be warming up upstairs on the track. And sure enough, the scout catches up to him and says, "Hey, I have a house," or, you know, "Do you really buy houses?" So you just never know where your marketing is going to come, where it's going to affect people, or where someone's going to be drawn to you because of your marketing. So find a piece of marketing that works for you. And I got to tell you, for us, it's bandit signs and just clothes. So as long as I can keep him wearing those "I buy houses" shirts, or some form of marketing that indicates what we do, I'm going to keep him in it. And he wears those suckers out like nobody's business. So we're always buying new ones. So, but other than that, you guys, I know this is fall is coming up here real soon. And I know this is a time when a lot of you want to sit back and find reasons, I'm not going to say excuses, but find reasons to let your business slide throughout the rest of the year, through the fourth quarter, and you can pick it up on the new year. And I just want to make sure that you guys are not doing that. It is so important that you stay focused on your task at hand. You guys all are here on this call. You are a part of the IE team and the IE family for a reason. You stay connected for a reason. And do not let fall and winter months drag you back and make you retreat and say, well, you know, nobody buys. I can't do this during the winter time. Because I can tell you, where we live, it snows like crazy. It gets cold like crazy. We have below zero temperatures several days in a row, and we can still make it happen. And, you know, we're not extraordinary individuals. We're just regular people just like you. We get up in the morning, you know, we put our clothes on one pant leg at a time, and we go through our day. The only difference is that we're deliberate in what we do, and we try really hard to stay focused and consistent and implement our processes, and we follow through on them. And if you're lacking right now and that's an area that you want to improve on, then set up a system and be consistent about how to follow that process. I know that seems kind of silly, you know, set up a system to follow a system, but set time to do specific tasks and set time to do specific things, and you will find that eventually those become second nature. It becomes a habit, becomes part of your routine, something you do on a regular basis, on a daily basis. And then that way, you know, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, the middle of summer and it's 110 degrees or 80 degrees wherever you live, or it's in the middle of winter and it's 15 below. It doesn't really matter, because real estate is real estate. And people buy houses when they have to buy houses. And if your house is the one that's available because you made the effort in the off season to continue to provide something for somebody, you're either going to get your house rented before everybody else, or you're going to get it sold because yours is available and you're there. And you're intentionally being available to people to market yourself and to show them that what you have available is going to meet their needs at that time of the year. So do not let fall and winter months make you an excuse or a statistic for letting your business drop off during this time of the year. So that's I guess that would be a big challenge for me to you, is to set up a plan. And you know, on the IE site, you guys, I know you guys can email people and talk to people, but I encourage each one of you to set up a plan. And if you want to email it to me, that's cool. I'd love to hear what your plan is or what your strategy is to get your system set up, or if you have a system and you want to follow through on it, feel free to share. If you put it out there to someone, it makes it a little more accountable. I'm not saying I'm going to be an accountability buddy, trust me, because I'm not the best at that. I'm great at my own accountability, but I lack because I'm so busy. I'm not on the sites all the time, and I'm just being very honest with you. But I would like to hear what people are doing to be consistent and deliberate in their efforts to move their business forward. And if you put that out there to another individual, even if it's not me, I don't care who it's to, put it out to somebody else on the site that you know, that you have a rapport with or a relationship with, put it out there. And once you put it out there, you take ownership for that. And when you take ownership for something, it truly helps you get to the point where you want to do the systems and you want to be able to move forward and you want to follow through, because you put it out there. So if you don't follow through on it, you don't want to look bad. At least I don't want to look bad when I don't follow through. But that's what I'm saying. So find somebody to share that information with and make yourself a little bit more accountable in that aspect. The one thing I do want to share, I think one of the final things I want to share before I just kind of pause a little bit and see if there isn't any more questions, is I want to talk about deals. And, you know, I talked about doing 7 deals in 7 days, and we're making offers all the time. You have to understand, we are not getting deals accepted all the time. Not every deal ends up being a deal. Now, I know we've all kind of heard you can make a deal if you, you know, lower the price or change the rehab or whatever, and that's fine. But I got to tell you, for us, if the numbers don't work, the numbers don't work. And there's just too many deals out there for us to sit and worry and fuss over a property where the numbers are so tight and the margins are so close that we wonder, well, if we took some of our profit off the table, maybe we could make it work. I don't like that philosophy, because that's taking money off of my table, out of my family's pocket. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm willing to flexible a little bit on it, but I'm also not willing to cut myself out of a deal just because the deal is really that tight. So I want to make sure that you know that not every deal can be a deal, and it's okay to say no. One of the things that I know I struggled with in the beginning, especially on for sale by owners, was making an offer that I knew was going to be much lower than the seller wanted. And one of the things that helped me make those offers and justify what I was offering was because I did my own due diligence. I got comparable properties that had sold that were just like theirs, that validated the price points that I was looking at. And I could show them what properties that were rehabbed were selling for. And I could show them that the amounts that they wanted for the property really was based off of a retail market or move-in ready with no rehab. And if you can show them that data and say, well, here's your property, you know, we sat and talked about all the stuff that needs to be done on it. And I want to show you some properties that have sold that already have all that stuff done on it, and you're asking $50,000 and they're selling for $55,000. We have a disconnect, and I don't have a problem saying that now, but in the beginning I was a little leery about it. And I can work the system backwards and say, okay, well, here's what I could sell it for. Here's, you know, my estimation on rehab, you know, and work the numbers kind of backwards. You don't have to tell them what your profit margin is or anything like that, but there's a way to systematically go through that. And at the end of the day, if they don't take your offer, it's okay. Be gracious, be kind, say thank you for the opportunity to consider purchasing your home as an investment property. Give them your business card and ask them if it's okay if you follow up with them in 30 days. If they haven't sold it and, you know, maybe they'd like to reconsider your offer, great, you'd love to talk to them. If they say no, no problem. You have my card. If you want to reconsider, feel free to give me a call anytime. And I always follow that up and I say, you know, even if you don't want to sell it to me, but you just have a question, just give me a call. And I'm happy to answer their question. So the boys are home. So don't feel like you can't walk away from a deal if it isn't going to work for you. Hi, guys.
Hello.
So you better come show your shirt. So anyway, so that's, anybody have any questions? No, wait, let me hang on one second. There he is, yay!
Every day.
That's what I told him, every day. I told him you were walking around the Y the other day and some girl stopped you because you were walking around the track and you had your shirt on.
She just stopped because I was hot.
Oh, okay, well, we don't have to share that. See what I have to put up with? Anyway, so any questions, you guys? I don't, you know, again, I keep talking about different topics, but I want to talk about what you guys want to hear about. And I want to answer questions that you guys have. If you guys have a question for Jeff, let me know. I'll grab him. He can come back in here and answer some more questions. No questions? Nobody has any questions? All right, so you guys, next week, John Heradis is going to be talking. I'm not sure what his topic is yet. I don't have that in front of me, but I know you're going to want to tune into that. He's a great speaker, and he's going to have lots of great information for you as well. And then after that, I know Carol's going to be talking about estimating rehab. That's in 2 weeks. That is a huge thing to figure out how to estimate rehab. It's very important for you to be able to run your numbers on a property, especially if you're going to present them to an end buyer. You want to be able to have exactly what the rehab numbers are going to be, and she's going to show you how to estimate those. So that's great. Let's see what else do we have here. Nothing? Nobody has any questions? Man, that's amazing. Hey, Jeff, do you have anything you want to add?
No.
Okay. He doesn't know what I've been talking about the whole time because he hasn't been here, so he doesn't want to add anything. Let's see, question. I believe you get deals from the MLS list. How exactly do you get 1 in 25? Okay, so the 1 in 25 rule, in theory says every 25 offers you make, you're going to get 1 deal accepted. And that could be off of the MLS. That could also be 25 to 1 for sale by owners. It could be 25 bandit sign clients calling you and you get 1 of those properties. So how you get 1 of those is really trying to figure out in your area what the formula is for the buying power. If you're in an area or you have investors that want to be all in at a certain percentage, let's say they want to be all in at 70%, you have to make sure that you buy that property below the 70% so that they can get their rehab done. You can still get your wholesale fee or whatever it is. And you have to work those numbers backwards. And then you have to determine if you're not getting any offers accepted at all, you have to finagle that a little bit and then try and re-offer again with maybe a higher percentage. So if you are going in and always offering at 45% of its value, and that's just not working, not getting anything, well, maybe you need to go in and you try 47% or maybe 50%. Play with the numbers a little bit and see what area you're working at. Now, if you're making 25 offers and you're making offers at 60%, let's say, and you're getting like half of them accepted, yeah, well, that's yay for you, but you're cutting your margins too thin, so you're getting too many accepted. So you should go start offering less on the next round out. Just bring your percentage down a little bit more. Your goal is really try to get at 1 in 25 accepted. So you do the math on that, right? You want 4 deals a month. On average, you would need to put out, about 100 offers. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule. Don't get me wrong, but that's the goal, is 1 in 25. Hope that helped. I'm waiting for questions.
I have a question. Why am I so amazing?
Because you're my man. So I've got 2 screens open here. I've got my Google Hangout screen, and then I've got the IE site up so I can see your questions. If nobody has any questions, guys, that's really cool. That's not a problem. I'm not offended by that. That just means I did an amazing job giving a presentation, so thank you very much. But if nobody has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. There's no sense in me just sitting here and staring at everybody with a blank look on my face waiting. But anyway, if you guys want to reach out to us, feel free. You guys have our contact information here on the IE site. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn, wherever. Just make sure that you drop us a line. Let us know what your system is. Let us know how you're doing and what it is you're doing to move your business forward. And it's always great to hear that stuff. And of course, if you want to share some successes that you've had from implementing those strategies, please feel free. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say good night. I hope you guys are all having an amazing evening. I hope I was able to deliver some information that helped some of you. I hope it helped all of you, but in my philosophy, if I can at least help just one person, I think we've reached our goals. So with that, I'm going to say good night and have everybody take care. Bye.